Time for another edition of the jury here at TwinSpires. Andrew Brown alongside James Scully and Darin Zoccali to discuss our best bets and fades right across North America and beyond this coming weekend. We're going coast to coast in the US, up to Canada, across the pond to the Curragh, and down under to Royal Randwick. Before we do that, though, DZ, I'll kick it over to you for an important message and to tell us also about the succulent promotions you've whipped up for us to get involved with at TwinSpires this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Brownie. No tiptoeing around it. It's known. We had a slight outage on Wednesday, unfortunately. There's no excuse for it. You know, these things unfortunately do happen when you have an online platform in any form of business. But look, we are very generous here. We understand that we have some very loyal and just great customers with us at TwinSpires. So we obviously want to make it up to them. So we are going to basically take some of our promotions this weekend and really amplify them. Most notably, we have that Saratoga money back that normally we feature maybe one or two races each day. Well, Friday and Saturday, we're giving you every race. $10 money back every race at Saratoga, all eligible races Friday and Saturday in that $10 money back offer. And then, of course, we have to support our friends over at Ellis and Colonial. So we're going to take the wager rewards program and we're going to do 10 times wager rewards on Ellis Park and Colonial Downs for Friday and Saturday to give you an enhanced incentive to play on those two tracks with us. So again, just a big thank you for sticking with us, for your patience, for your loyalty, for being great TwinSpires members. You know we were going to take care of you when we had an issue. We recognize it, we own it, and now it's our turn to give back, and that's exactly what we're going to do this weekend, Brownie.
Great stuff. And DZ, of course, not just the promotions guy. If you followed his selections on this very show last week, you will have seen that Arlington million winner set piece for Brad Cox and Flo Giroux was his very best bet. And he got Love Reigns beating the Galway at Saratoga too. So looking forward to hearing what you have for us today, DZ. But let's start with you, James. What's your best bet for the weekend?
I'm going to go with the Alabama Stakes at Saratoga. Listen, I've been trying to beat Wet Paint for about 4 or 5 starts. Did beat her in the Oaks and in a race at Ellis Park, but I thought a race in the Coaching Club American Oaks, that's really going to drive her price down. And I wasn't a big fan of that effort. She was all out to beat Sacred Wish that day. That race came back with a low speed rating. It's got some new faces in the Alabama field. And I'm going to take as my best bet number 8 randomized. I like this Chad Brown filly. She broke her maiden the second time out at Aqueduct going a mile by open lengths. Came back in the Acorn, didn't get off to a good start, a fast start, and raced a little bit evenly that day to be 6th in her stakes debut. But I thought she moved forward off that effort impressively at Saratoga last time. I think she's going to go right to the front with Joelle Rosario, and she got a big number. She got a 103 Brisnet speed rating. Even if you think that number was inflated by 2 or 3 or a few points, it's still better. It would still be better than the rest of her rivals if it was in the 100 range. So I'm a big fan of randomized off of her last effort. I think she's moving forward. And the 3-year-old filly division, outside of Pretty Mischievous, who isn't a 1.25 mile type, I think it's right for a new face in the crowd to emerge in this fall. And I'm going to go with randomized in the Alabama. Darin, who's your best bet?
It's another 3-year-old filly who's a late face to the crowd to the merge, but we're going to switch over to the turf course. I have a crush on Anazette. I've had it since her debut. I thought she was spectacular in the San Clemente, and she's running in the Del Mar Oaks on Saturday, race number 8 on the program. Look, I'm not giving you anything with any kind of a price, but I've talked this filly up quite a bit. I've never really been very high on these Southern California horses when it comes to turf racing. The dirt horses come over and they beat the East Coast dirt horses. The turf horses have been a bit of a different story. I think this filly might breathe a little bit different air, though. Her start last time in the San Clemente went sensational. She had an electric turn of foot. I think she's only going to get better. I think the sky is the limit for her in terms of what she might be able to accomplish here on this side of the pond. So I think she gets a pace setup once again. She's got a big field she'll have to navigate through, but she could just kind of circle up wide, and I think slingshot past them all once again. So for me, Anazette, the Del Mar Oaks, my safest best bet of the weekend.
Well, DZ, I'm also very keen on Anisette too, but you beat me to it in the Slack channel where we have to submit our selections prior to recording this show. I mean, yeah, that San Clemente win was absolutely sensational. I think the extra furlong suits, and she's going to be very tough to beat here. The sky's the limit, as you say. But I'll go to Friday's card at Del Mar in the CTT and TOC stakes. I like Sister O'Toole, who is shipping in from Saratoga. She actually won this race last year, and I think Grey Motion has probably circled this one in the calendar for her this year. She was only fifth in an allowance race at Saratoga last out, but that was off a lengthy layoff. And the horse that ran third that day, Californian Queen, has since won and is previously Grade 1 place. So the form has been franked. Sister O'Toole, she's going to appreciate stretching out to the 11 furlongs on the turf. And as the defending champ, of course, she is proven at the track. So Sister O'Toole for me in the CTT and TOC stakes at Del Mar on Friday afternoon or Friday night, Eastern time. All right, what about fades, fellas? DZ, we'll start with you this time.
Big weekend north of the border, and I'm going to start there on Saturday in the Grade 2 King Edward Stakes, and I'm going to fade number 6, Shirl's Spite, who's the morning line favorite in the 1 mile event. Look, I have a great deal of respect for this horse. He's had some really good runs here, including a second place effort in the Breeders' Cup Mile. But he tried to go to Japan back in February. Obviously, that did not work out. Then he went to Dubai. Ran pretty well in that spot behind Lord North and Nation's Pride in a race where clearly the talent far exceeds what he's facing here. But now he's been off for 5 months. He comes into this off the layoff. He comes in off of a trip to Japan, to Dubai, might need a start pointing towards some bigger things down the line. I know he carries a lot of class and he's got some really good back form in some big spots, but at a short price in a race like this just feels like the kind of spot where you could beat a horse like this. So for me, my fade is going to be Shirl's Spite in the King Edward at Woodbine on Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm against the favorites in both graded stakes at Saratoga on Saturday. I talked about Wet Paint earlier with my best bet of the weekend, and my best fade is going to come in the Grade 2 Lake Placid. I'm going to go against Prerequisite for Chad Brown. This is a filly who I thought got the trip on the lead in the Belmont Oaks and ran second that day. But I think it's a much different pace scenario in this Lake Placid. I mean, she drew the far outside post. She's got speed to her inside. Runners like Heavenly Sunday and Glorious Princess look like they have a desire to make the front end from the break. And Prerequisite's going to have to change tactics. And I like others better in this spot. So I'll make her my bet against for the weekend, Brownie.
Yeah, thanks, James. And DZ's promotions, they don't just are not just limited domestically, they also go internationally. And one of them is the Summer International Money Back at Royal Randwick on Friday night, which is where my fade comes up in the Group 1 Winx Stakes, the feature race on the card, of course, named after that mighty mare Winx, who won just a casual 33 consecutive races, including 25 Group 1s during her career. So this is the first Group 1 of the new racing season down under. And the horses that you see here resuming will be contesting some of the biggest races in Sydney and Melbourne over the Spring Carnival over the next couple of months, including the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup. The Melbourne Cup, of course, over 2 miles, but the horses resuming here over just 7 furlongs. My fade is Zaki, who for many reasons will attract plenty of support. He races well fresh. He loves a rain-affected track. There's been a bit of rain around Sydney, and he rarely puts in a bad performance. But I just think, boys, as a rising 8-year-old now, he might find the 7 furlongs a little bit sharp for him first off the layoff. It's a full field of 16, and there's a couple from the Chris Wallabarn who, of course, trained Winx, including Fangirl and Hinged, who I think can run big races. And, of course, that Summer International Money Back available on all races, 10 races at Royal Randwick on Friday night with TwinSpires. What else you got for us this weekend, DZ?
Well, we're giving money away north of the border, too. Obviously, they have a huge weekend of racing up in Canada at Woodbine, the King's Plate. Race number 10 on Sunday, 17 races, a real international, 17 horses, I should say, a real international look to this, almost a Kentucky Derby type look. Great field is assembled. The morning line favorite, Kalik for Chad Brown, is coming up from Belmont, despite the fact that the horse has never run on a synthetic surface. The winner of the plate trial, the winner of the Woodbine Oaks, a horse coming out of the Marine Stakes is in there. Just a really great edition of the King's Plate on a spectacular card on Sunday. And we have a great track partnership with Woodbine. We're offering a money back on all the stakes races up at Woodbine this weekend as well. So be sure to be opted in and play along with that. But Brownie, we're like I said, we're giving away the farm this weekend. We're going to include our friends up at Woodbine for their special weekend of racing. Not many events better in Canada and anywhere in North America than the King's Plate.
And it's the first, King's Plate in 70 years or something, or whatever, a long, long time. For my what else, guys, I'm going to mention the first race at Saratoga on Saturday. It's a 2-year-old maiden special weight race. And Bill Mont has a pair of horses entered. Now, I'm going to mention his first horse, Hunt Ball. This is a first-time starter by Into Mischief out of Grade 1 winner Dance Card. So that makes Hunt Ball a half-brother to Cody's Wish. Cody's Wish needed 4 starts to break his maiden. He lost twice, ran third twice at Saratoga at odds on in maiden special weight races. I hope Hunt Ball takes all the betting action in this race. He has 3 gate works in his last 6 workouts, which would indicate a problem perhaps with the starting gate in the morning. And I'm going to go against him in there. And I'm going to mention his stablemate, number 7, Special Element, who will be a much better price. He broke slowly in his debut on July 15th. Ran into Pirate, a son of Omaha Beach, 3-length winner for Todd Pletcher, one of the most impressive maiden winners of the meet. He's heading to perhaps the Grade 1 hopeful. And runner-up of that day, Just Steel, came right back to break his maiden for Lucas. Special Element broke slowly, rallied well for third. I'm going to look for him to move forward off that effort and graduate in race 1 at Saratoga on Saturday. Brownie, what do you have?
The Lid Lifter at Saratoga on Saturdays. James, I've got a couple of sneaky good 2-year-old races at the Curragh on Saturday morning. DZ talked about giving away the farm. He's also come up with a promotion for the Curragh on Saturday as well. Every race eligible for the Summer International Money Back. And 2 sneaky good 2-year-old races, the Group 2 Futurity for the boys and the Group 2 Debutante for the girls. Each of the 8 races on the card eligible for that promotion I mentioned. Aidan O'Brien looking for an incredible 16th success in the Futurity, and he's got odds-on favourite Henry Longfellow with Ryan Moore up to help him do that. And the O'Brien-Moore combo also have the favourite Pearls and Rubies in the debutante, so should be a great card from the Curragh. He's got plenty of good 2-year-olds at the moment. Aidan, City of Troy, another one. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
No, excited for a great weekend. Yeah, great weekend.
I'm going to echo both of you guys. Anna Sett, Leonard Powell. I wouldn't mind seeing her win, and she looks like a filly. If she gets that 1.8 miles, sky's just the limit for her moving forward as well. So I love that turn of foot as well. And good luck, you guys, this weekend. I need a best bet winner, Darin. Congratulations on Set Piece.
Yeah, that was a little bit more of a bolder play than picking Anna Sett. But Set Piece ran great. It was great to see the first Arlington Million at Colonial. They'd had a spectacular day of racing, and we should have a great weekend of racing. Looking forward to the Alabama to see if this 3-year-old filly picture gets sorted. But if Wet Paint gets beat here, I think things get a little bit muddled going into the last few months of the season. So it's going to be an interesting division to keep track of.
Should be a great weekend of racing. The jury has spoken. Don't forget to get involved in all of those great TwinSpires promotions that we have discussed. The team will be back on Tuesday to recap this big weekend of racing. And until then, though, I hope you find plenty of winners.